Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world.
Hello, friends. So, over the years, I've had many friends say that they're stressed out, that they're worried, that people, places, and things cause them so many sleepless nights that it isn't funny. And the thing is, I can relate to them. I've had more than a few of those sleepless nights myself. And today, especially, people may have fear and uncertainty on top of anxiety. But there are ways to deal with excessive worry. There are ways to adjust your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to minimize, if not totally eliminate, worrying. And this video is going to highlight 3 of those successful ways that people have found to deal with, well, what can actually grow to be a debilitating issue. First, you need to convince yourself that there is nothing to worry about, or at least that it's not the end of the world. And the fact is that many times people really don't have to worry. In fact, usually the worry is extreme for the circumstances. We tend to build it up out of proportion. So in this case, remember first and foremost what New York Yankees outfielder Mickey Rivers once said, quote, "Ain't no sense in worrying about things you got control over. 'Cause if you got control over them, ain't no sense worrying. And there ain't no sense worrying about things you got no control over, 'cause if you got no control over them, ain't no sense worrying about them." In other words, if you have control over something, don't worry. And if you don't have any control over it, it's out of your hands. So don't worry. Just let it play out for what it is. Worrying isn't going to solve anything. In fact, it usually makes matters worse. Second, write it down and prepare an action plan. This helps minimize the worrying because when you see it on paper, there's less of a chance that it can be exaggerated and you both see the issue for what it is and not generalize into the greater universe. And then by preparing an action plan, or at least coming up with some ideas to address it, you're giving yourself options. And as long as you have options, no issue is overwhelming. And this also gives you a chance to weigh out your options and choose which one is a rational and logical way to address the problem. And third, try meditation, try reading, try hobbies to otherwise occupy your time, try balancing your worrying with either a direct time limitation or with positive thoughts like being grateful for what you do have. And if need be, seek counseling to help you through it. And most importantly, try prayer. Many people have gotten through the trials and turmoil of the day by turning it over to God, by doing what you need to do, but by letting God in to help. And faith is powerful. Faith is the air to the vacuum, the water to the drought. A life devoid of faith is like living in a vacuum devoid of meaning, but a life rich in faith is like living in an ocean of possibilities. And prayer is the root of faith. Ask and it will be given. Pray. So I want to tell you about one friend that found himself over his head in debt. For the first time in his life, he was worried beyond belief, about to lose everything. And his worry was understandable. It wasn't his imagination, it was his reality. But guess what? Eventually, he came out of that financial situation. Yes, it took time for him to get back on his feet, and there was some pain involved. But the best thing he did was to not let his worry overwhelm him, not let his worry consume him, mind and body. You see, he put it all down on paper, and he knew that no matter how serious of a situation he was in, it was incidental and that he could survive it. And even with the pain, he would come out on the other side. He knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And yes, it was a long and dark tunnel, but he knew there was an end and a new beginning for him. So the last thing I want to share with you is a quote I've held near and dear to me for these many years. Quote, "In the end, everything works out for the best. If it hasn't worked out yet, it isn't the end yet. But in the end, everything works out for the best." Hey, be safe, be well, and don't worry about tomorrow. Just do what you can do today, and may God bless.